What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are making a kernel module to do regex filtering. Because a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago or so, my friend was messaging me and they're like, yeah, I'm at the hospital and like all their computers are down and I don't, it's kind of crazy. And you find out that it's revealed to me a little later that CloudStrike, which I don't really know what it is, some sort of like antivirus or something, is like crashing everyone's computers. Like all Windows computers, corporate software. I don't know. Everybody who has this thing installed, they're fucking blue screening off rip. And I heard, I haven't really done much verification here, but I heard that it's because they had some like regex parser in the Windows kernel, presumably used to like match executable names or something, if they're like, matching for patterns in executables that are known to be problematic or something. I don't know. That's just my guess. But it was doing something stupid and crashing. And, I just thought that was kind of fun. It just seemed like, my thought when I saw it is like, I want to do that. That sounds like a fun idea. One, because I don't really know how regex engines work, and so it's like a fun way to explore that. And I haven't done like kernel development for a while, so we can kind of like knock off two birds with one stone. Kind of a weird, rude thing to do to birds, but we can do two things at once and kind of explore that a little bit. So that's the plan for today. My thoughts are, I kind of want like some sort of kernel mod, like from user space. I'm imagining that you can do something like open a file descriptor by like opening dev regex, right? And I'm imagining that you can do something like set some parameters on that file descriptor to say like set the regex to like, you start of line, hello, end of line or something, right? Just like something simple. And then I'm imagining that you have like some file content. You just want to like rip that into the file descriptor, stuff. And when you read back from the file descriptor, you should get back, the filtered stuff. That's what I'm thinking. I think it would be kind of fun. So plan of action is approximately we need to like get up some sort of kernel environment to like do our development, because certainly I am going to crash the kernel a lot. It won't blue screen, but it will crash and still be useless, and I don't want my stream to go down. So doing this stuff in a virtual machine makes sense. Let's get like some sort of like hello world kernel module in C, just to prove that we know how to like load and unload modules and like understand how they work like a little bit. Then we can like try baking one in Zig, because I think that would be fun. And then we can start doing like something simple, like can we just make like an echo server on like a dev handle? That will probably take some sort of like finagling. Then like do some ioctl hookup and regexy stuff. We'll make some regex. That's the plan. Let's start moving, because this is going to be a lot of effort. So we gotta get going. Okay, so I have, full disclosure, I did build a kernel and run it in qemu yesterday, because I wanted to make sure that I had all of the like environment stuff set up, because that shit's boring. And so I wanted to make sure that we could get to the interesting part of the stream today. So I stole this shell, or this like Nix shell thing, from the Linux kernel section here, and I just kind of started with like this thing and just stripped it down to like whatever I thought made sense. I think that we need to use this like build fhs user env so that we have like files in sane locations. I think the kernel needs that for some reason. Not sure. That might be something that I just kind of hit along the way and isn't necessary anymore, but like screw it. So we have package config and curses to like do kernel setup, qemu to run the virtual machine, musil because I want like some form of user space, and I want to be able to statically link stuff, and so musil just seemed easier to work with to me to do that. And Clang tools in case I need to use like ClangD to jump around in code. I've pre-downloaded Linux and BusyBox. I'm pretty sure that we can get away with like the world's worst user space by just taking the BusyBox binary and like shoving it into our initramfs. But we'll see. We'll kind of tackle that in a second. Let's start by building a kernel. Let's start with a kernel. So I found a little bit of like, I was Googling like, how to debug kernel module in qemu? And people were telling me to use this like tool build root. And I've tried building that, and it just seemed like it was like a lot of stuff, a lot more than I needed. But I eventually found this gist of somebody who's doing like something that's like about what I want, which is like I just want world's smallest user space, busy box only, and a small kernel. And this kind of like pointed me in the right direction. Specifically, he's kind of pointed me to a bunch of kernel configs that are really relevant, as well as which command I want to use to build the initramfs, and I think like maybe a qemu command in here. But really, it's not crazy. It's not crazy. So generally, when working with the Linux kernel, you need to like build with some sort of configuration, right? If I look at like proc kconfig, config.gz, proc config gz, this is like all of the parameters that my kernel running on my machine was built with. And there's lots of stuff that like isn't enabled, right? So like there's no xz support in my kernel, but there could be, right? And so the Linux kernel is this like collection of small pieces, and you can kind of choose piecewise what you want in there. And so going to like make this tiny config, which is like, yo, Linux, could you make me something that like has like a pretty stripped down version of stuff, but like will still like compile and run? So that's what I'm doing there. And then this guy kind of points me to some useful pieces that I need. So by default, it's not going to give me all the features I want. So I say make menu config, and this gives me like this little interface that I can use to kind of enable and disable kernel features. And all this does is like, if I say copy config to config.back, and I go into menu config here, and I say, hey, like let's build a 64-bit kernel. If I diff our config to config.back, this just kind of like propagates differences that are caused by that. So like there's like this like kconfig thing that basically builds this like dependency tree of configs. And basically by enabling 64-bit, I actually also enable all of these other things. So this menu is like kind of a way for me to basically uncomment or comment these things. Equals Y means that they are things that are going to get built like directly into your kernel image. So your Linux kernel is just like this like executable, essentially, like a normal elf, like the same way that when I look at like which bash, and I do like file which bash, right? This is like, oh my god, file this. Symbolic link to this. hold on. This is a 64-bit elf, right? That's all this is. The kernel, same fucking thing. And the elf is like known how to be loaded by like your bootloader. So I can't remember why I was talking about that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't remember why I was talking about that. But so I need to go into menu config, and I need to set like enable a bunch of stuff. Are we done with the Google Maps thing? No, I just needed a little bit of a break. We will be back on it. I guarantee it. Okay, we need initramfs. That's important. Because without initramfs, we have no user space. We need a user space so that we can like do things like have bash, right? When the Linux kernel boots, it needs to run some software. So the software that we are going to use is going to be stored in initramfs. We need standard kernel features printk. Printk, also very important. Because if we don't have printk, how are we going to know if the kernel's doing anything? It needs to have some way of saying like, when I want to log this string, please. So let's turn on printk, and then we also need to make sure that printk has somewhere to go. So I can't remember. It's like tty, I think. Yeah, tty. So we want to enable some sort of tty, and we need to enable serial as well, because qemu is going to like basically use serial as the mechanism for how it displays stuff, right? It's basically gonna like imagine like you have like this like I don't remember if you guys saw like serial port PC. I remember like back in the day, every PC on its motherboard had like one of these things sticking out the back, right? And so like you can imagine that if you were booting natively, you would have like a thing plugged into this, and you would be like monitoring the output of that. That's effectively what we're doing, except we're saying that like qemu is like just forwarding the output of what it sees on this like virtual console thing back to our standard input output. That's what we're going to be doing. It's pretty funny. By default, the Linux kernel turns out can't execute software. That's like just really funny to me. So we need to turn on support for launching elfs, as well as launching scripts that start with like bash, VGA, right? No, I'm actually not talking about VGA. I'm talking about like serial consoles. So it's not like exporting like video. It's exporting just like characters by wiggling this wire up and down. RS-232. Yeah. Okay. VGA is holes. I don't know what that. Oh yeah. VGA is holes. Yeah. You're right. Okay. Then we want like this stuff we can enable later. Support for stuff in dev. That's fine. We don't really need this. Enable TTY. We did that already. Proc and sys. We can enable that later. This should be enough for us to get a kernel that boots. Okay. So let's just start there. We're probably gonna we're looking at probably like a 2-minute build, maybe less. We'll see. And this is kind of our minimal kernel. I guess while that is running, we can start looking at like the user space side of things. So I've downloaded BusyBox, and what BusyBox is like, imagine like all of the like executables you expect to have when you run Linux, like ls, bash, right? Like these things are part of like GNU utils typically or something, if I remember correctly. BusyBox is like this like shitty version of all of the executables baked into one executable. And I cloned this because it's just easy to like have this one project you build and you run. I think it has like SSH in here. It basically has like all these like stripped down shitty utilities that are small and like quick to compile. Our image compiled. So let's try running that thing in qemu. So I think you can just say like, hey, qemu has like a bootloader built into it, and so you can just say, hey, run this kernel at arch x86 boot bz image. The reason it's called bz image is because the kernel it like compresses itself. So this is like a tar buzz or something. No, it is just a buzz, right? Like if you ran like bzip2, it like generates, it takes like the kernel elf and like puts it in this thing. So I think if we actually look at this thing, we might actually be able to see that that's true. He actually knows he's a Linux kernel image. But what happens is like the kernel, I think it like prepends a little bit of uncompressed code that basically just has like a bz decompressor. And then it runs that first to unzip the rest of the kernel and then load that into memory as a way to like reduce disk size, I think. And I think if we say no graphic here and append console tty as 0, this kind of says run this thing without argui, no VGA please. And this says like when you launch this kernel, put this parameter on the end of it. I'm seeing nothing, which means that we forgot something, because that should do something and it's not. So we've fucked up our kernel image in some way, shape, or form. Maybe I need to write log level here. No. Okay, something's wrong. Let's double check that we enabled everything we needed to enable. So TTY is enabled. We have serial drivers. We do not have this console one. I forgot to press this one, which is probably very important because if without a console, there's no console. And then I guess, oh fuck, I accidentally hit no there. Fuck. TTY. It was serial console. Okay, let's try that. And then I wanted to check as well if we had print K on, and we do. Okay. We'll run make again and try again. We will try again. I think that this should only rebuild a few things because the configs required for all the other stuff didn't change. So I think that the Linux kernel build system is smart enough to keep track of which configs are relevant for which files and only rebuild the ones that are necessary. But sometimes if it doesn't work, there's like, you can run make clean. Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. We've got some fucking kernel logs, baby. Let's go. He's saying like, hey, there's like no executable to run, so we're just gonna give the fuck up. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's reasonable. We'll give you one in a second, but chill the fuck out. Okay, so we have our kernel. Let's go back to trying to set up our user space. So BusyBox. BusyBox has like a similar menu config thing going on. And the only thing that I think we need to really turn on in here is static executables. So we don't want it to like link to any of our system libraries. So I click this button that's like, please build a static binary, please. And this is why I set up, I pulled in Mussel earlier, is because when I statically link, it tries to link with libm, and the GCC on my system doesn't have like a statically linkable libm, but Mussel did. So we can do like make, I think I have to specify the compiler as Mussel GCC because he specifies some like extra arguments that are important. And let's fucking just run it. And I think that I have to write install actually as well. I think, if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, we'll see. We'll see. I've been here for like 30 minutes and I've now realized it's irrelevant to the Google Maps Destroyer website. Well, I'm happy that I could keep you entertained for 30 minutes, even if what I'm saying is not grokkable. You're like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it's still fun. That's really good for me. Okay, so BusyBox is kind of funny. If you look at this, we have like this file system where we have all of these executables and they all just symlink back to BusyBox. And BusyBox actually does this shit where it checks argv0 and just switches behavior based off of the first argument to the executable. So it checks like, are they trying to run me as shell? Okay, I'll run shell. And I think the reason for this, I'm not sure, but my guess would be it's because you can actually get a smaller executable this way, because any common functionality shared between these utilities is now just all baked into one static executable, and you don't have to worry about like copy pasting that code between different exes or making shared libraries and stuff, right? So I think that's why it's this way it is, I think. Let's take this install and just move it up here. And we're going to call this our init ramfs. So init ramfs, what the fuck is that? I don't really know, but I think when you boot your kernel, there's usually like a multi-stage boot where like you have all of your files and stuff on your hard drive in this ext4 file system or something like that, right? But like your bootloader might not know how to load ext4, and it might not know how to like talk to your hard disk. It probably knows how to talk to your hard disk, but like it might not have all the drivers it needs to do. If you have like, disk encryption or like GPU drivers that you need to come up on early in it, like none of that stuff is like available until it like loads the real file system. So what you can do is you can give this like stripped down user system to the bootloader in this compressed format, and the bootloader will like inject that into a specific location in RAM before loading the kernel. I think I kind of made that part up, but it's the way it makes sense to me. And so it can say like, here is like some stuff for you to use on early init, and my understanding is that your like init ramfs basically bootstraps your actual OS. So he'll have things like maybe he'll have like your FS tab in there, and he'll be like, oh, okay, so I know that like in order to mount root, I need to look at this partition from this place and load it with like my ZFS kernel driver that I have embedded in here, and I'm gonna like load like this like GPU driver and stuff. And so it like does all that stuff, then loads your like real OS, and then jumps to the init of that. Is my understanding. And so what we can do here is we can go into our like init ramfs, which only has BusyBox. The only thing in here is BusyBox. But we should be able to do some command that's like list all the fucking files here. List all the fucking files, run them into this like CPIO tape archive file format thing, and then like compress the shit out of it. Right? That's kind of it. So we just do find dot dash print 0 CPIO dash what was it? Null. I don't know what -ov is or what format equals new C is. I'm just going to fucking copy paste what I see here. And then we gzip -9 that thing into init ramfs cpio gz. And we saw actually a second ago that when we launched our kernel, he was going to try to run a thing at /init, I think. So we can actually try to make that thing. Or maybe we'll see what happens if we just do this first. We'll see what happens if we do this first. So let's run qemu again, and we can just say like init ramfs, I think, is our init ramfs. I think we forgot our little .gz. No, it's init rd maybe. No such file. Okay, there we go. So let's see what's happening here. Oh shit. Okay. So this tried to run init, but init doesn't exist. So I think eventually he just fell back on running bin sh or something, because we like have a thing here, right? We can ls. Now he's mad about all sorts of other stuff, like the fact that dev tty doesn't exist, which is fair because it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So, but we're somewhere. We're somewhere. Okay, let's try to get like an init script up that kind of does like what we want. So we can say like bin sh, and we just say like echo, hi mom, I am a kernel now, smile. And then maybe we want to exec bin sh after. And we can chmod plus x init, rebuild our init ramfs, which is fast as fuck because there's like nothing in it. And we'll rerun qemu again. I don't know why my like fucking new line shit is broken there. Syntax error, unterminated quoted string. I probably that smiley face probably is using some like invalid bash things, so I should probably put this in like a fucking, you know, a little thingamabob. Why is my fucking new line breaking? Was it init ramfs? Yeah, there we go. Nope. Init ramfs. We want to make the thing. Boom. And we go back to qemu and we run it again. Cd Linux. Sorry, qemu. Run that bitch. Okay. So did we see hi? Hi, mom. I'm a kernel now. Boom, baby. All right. So we've got our very, very basic kernel and user space up and running. And now we can try to hook in a kernel module. Let's just fucking try to do something, you know? This is at 2102, not whatever the fuck I just wrote. Time for a makefile? Exactly. Okay. So I was grokking, spelunking sounds right, through the kernel docs yesterday. And I eventually found this thing, modules RST. So this tells us how to set this thing up. So it's this. And he's just, you know, he's got blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit, blah, 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 right? But somewhere in here, he says, here's a makefile, right? And here is a makefile that we can use to make a kernel driver. So let's just start there. We'll start there. So let's kind of make our kernel driver. And we'll make this makefile. And he's got, you know, some like auto-generated stuff in here. I'm kind of like leaning on some like previous understanding of stuff. This obj.-m basically says like this, if you are building a kernel module, like a loadable module, this is what I need as part of that thing. And then I think this is kind of like extra files that you can tack on. I'm not really exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's what this is. Here he's saying like, if you run make and you're not running through like the kernel directory, like go there and run this command. This is how you like build a kernel module, is you say make -c into the kernel directory with m equals the path to your module. I don't really remember where that comes from, but I've seen that before. So basically everything in this else block is like, fuck this shit, we don't need that, right? So really we kind of only need this stuff. And in reality, we probably only kind of need this. This is probably a good enough makefile for us. And so I think that if we say like my driver.o, the kernel will say, okay, I'm going to try to build my driver.o using like the kernel, the like matching patterns that are built into like my kernel makefiles. And so if we create a file, my driver.c, it should try to build that, if I remember correctly. So here we need to basically make a kernel module. So can we say like hello world kernel module? If I remember correctly, there's like these initialization things that are part, like just get run on init. You specify them with these macros. And yeah, let's just start here. So these get run on init and dinit. It looks okay. He's complaining about all sorts of stuff. It's fine because my clang D isn't set up right. Module license, GPL, module author, Mickey Pie. This is a description and a version. We probably can, I think you only really need module license. I think everything else is optional. And here we say, what happens here is this macro, underscore init, is pretty fucking crazy actually. It's pretty crazy. Let's see if we can find it. It's in init.h. I guess my fucking grep doesn't work if we're not in a git directory, which is fucking stupid, but it is what it is. Oh my god. Git init. So we'll just init the Linux kernel so I can fucking grab for stuff. But let's see. Define init. Okay, this. What the fuck is going on here? So this is kind of fun. What happens is this says like Linux kernel, could you please define this function? But instead of defining it in like the normal spot that you normally would in like text section, right? Please define it in this like super special section of the binary. So like generally when you load like an executable, maybe we can look for, can we look at like ls proc self exe or something? if I were to look at this and I were to say like readelf.h on this, give me some fucking information about this guy. Maybe it's readelf-a. Typically you see, let's see, sorry, I apologize. I just can't remember the command that I'm looking for. It's something that's like, there are different sections of the binary. This is what I'm looking for here, section headers, right? And so like, there's like stuff in here, like there's .text, there's .symbols, like GNU version, right? And what happens generally is like your executable says like, go here, right? Go here. And that is mapped to like one of these sections, right? So it's very likely in .text. And typically, like, I think what you see here is that each of these sections gets like linked into the binary at different addresses and with different flags, right? So your .text is going to have read and executable permissions, right? This like AX, I think, is what this is, access executable or something, I think. And that means that like you have code, right? But like typically like for security reasons, you kind of want like your data and your code to be in different spots because you want your data to be writable, but your code not to be writable. And you don't want your data to be executable. And so you have like this other section, BSS, which is typically where like your static memory lives, right? So if you put like a global variable, it will be flagged with this like .bss section. Or if you have .data, I think is usually where like the well, this says WA as well, so I'm not sure. But there's like some other section where like your constant values go, your global constants. I'm pretty sure it's .data, so which means I must be wrong about what this like WA means. But what Linux kernel does is it makes a new section in here, and instead of like your code going in .text, it goes into this like .init text section. And this gets marked as like executable, like your text section. Except now what you can do is you can just like iterate every single function in this section and just fucking run it when your kernel starts. And so you have this like weird like compile time mapping of like things that you want to run when the executable starts, and all you have to do is just put it somewhere else. Right? And so it's kind of fun. I don't know if these are only function pointers that get put in here or if the whole function goes in there. We could probably look for like, I've looked for the init section before and how it's run, but it was years ago and I don't want to find it again. I think it'll slow us down too much. But there's just like some mechanism where it can iterate over all functions in this section to run them, which is kind of fun. So that's how like when we write this driver and it's like, hello, FG? Am I in the wrong? Oh, here, it's here. So that's why when I write this and you're like, well, how the fuck does it know to run this function? And it's like, oh, it just gets put in this like weird ass fucking extra spot in the binary, which is kind of fun. So we should be able to run make-c the Linux directory with modules equal to our directory. And this should build something, except he's mad because the kernel does not have support for loadable kernel modules. So we have to fix that. Which is easy to fix. We just do a make menu config. And we just look for modules. Enable loadable kernel module support. Is there anything in here? We probably want unloading support, maybe, if we want to be able to like dynamically update our kernel module without having to reset our whole virtual machine. And I think that should be fine. So now we just make -j9 just to like rebuild anything. This might actually end up rebuilding a lot of stuff because I think that kernel module support might be kind of like really deeply baked in. So you see a lot of stuff. Last time when we enabled like some other sections, we saw that only a few things were rebuilt. When we enabled the serial driver, it was like, oh, we just have to build the serial driver now. Here we've kind of like changed like a core function of the entire kernel. And so it's like, I guess we have to rebuild the entire kernel. Another crazy project idea. Let's go. I was chuckling when I thought of it. I was like, this is entertaining for me at the very least, which I hope means entertaining for you. But entertaining for me, which is really all I should care about. You guys don't matter. Only I matter. I'm the main character of my stream, which generally when you say that you're the main character, you're kind of being a narcissistic piece of shit. But here, I'm just being a narcissistic realist when I say that it's all about me. I should stop fucking talking. Okay, so here we see that like with this makefile, all we have is saying like when you build a module, try to make my driver.o, and it did like generate a bunch of shit, right? So we have this mydriver.ko, which is super cool for us. And we should be able to just like kind of take this thing and shove it into our initramfs, rebuild our initramfs, which was this find command, go back into our thing and run qemu. I think that running that cpio command fucks up my terminal. And then I think that we should see here, we have my driver, and we should be able to insmod mydriver.co, and we see loading kernel module hello world. Fuck yes, man. And then if we do like rmod my driver, goodbye, mister. It's so sick. We're so fucking there. So there, first kernel module built. Hell yeah. And let's see if we can figure out how to fucking make it work in Zig. So as we were just saying, right? All like the special stuff in this driver is like this init function and this exit function. That's it, right? And so all we have to do is like figure out how in Zig to get these functions in the right spots in the binary. And everything else should just kind of work. And I found an example of this yesterday when I was Googling around. This guy, Mr. Noeliel. I'm so sorry if that person ever sees this. But he found, he basically just threw a link section in here, init text and exit text. It looks like there was like a bunch of other stuff in that init macro, but he just ignored them. And so why don't we just fucking ignore them too and see what happens? That's honestly a lot more standard process than I expected. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. When I was Googling around on like how to test this stuff, it seemed like people were throwing like a lot of extra complexity at it. But with this like initramfs style, it seems like really straightforward. This guy, he said, hey, when we have, if you need, like the makefile is going to try to make .o objects, right? But the way makefiles work is they have rules on how to generate some types of files from other types of files. And so he's just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, we'll make a rule for Zig. Well, I don't know if he said fuck it. I'm kind of like personifying this person in like my own way of how I imagine all people are, but I know that they're not all like me. But I'm pretending that he is like me, and we're just going to keep rolling with it. And so we're just going to copy paste his command. Because, fuck it. And so we're running Zig build object fpic release true release small. This I minimal include I think we don't need. I guess he kind of put this like print k wrapper in here. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, and so now we just need to make a mydriver.zig. Why release choice? Yeah, that's a good question. We can probably get away with this as well. We don't need to cd into source either. We're not gonna do that. We're just gonna do this. And let's see if we can figure out how this shit works. So can we kind of just say mydriver_back.c and then let's make mydriver zig. And let's kind of just copy his function signatures, which are like this. Oh, this is pretty funny too. So you need to say, you need to like put the license in here. So here he's like done some sort of weird like link section this variable with this name, which is pretty funny. I don't know why he's done it like this. License equals GPL. Does it say GPL? It just says GP. License equals GP. That's kind of funny. But we can probably just do something similar. We can say license equals GPL. I suspect that my terminals actually feels kind of fucked up, to be honest. Something about this doesn't feel right. So I'm just actually going to reset and try again. Mydriver.zig. There we go. It's license equals GPL. So I don't know why he's done it as like this sentinel terminated U8 array when that's kind of, you can just do license equals GPL. Let's just do that. Maybe we'll find out why that's broken and we'll say hello from Zig here and goodbye from Zig. We want new lines here so that the buffering gets cleared. And then we need somewhere to define this print k. So I don't really know why, like, he's done it like this. I think that we can just do it ourselves. Like, we can say, like, extern function print k returns a c int, like something like this. And then we just have, like, you know, sentinel terminated u8 here. And then I think that that's fine. Right, I think we just do this. I guess it's technically supposed to be underscore print k. Probably because print k is a macro that gets forwarded to underscore print k would be my guess to what's happening here. qemu command probably messes up the terminal. Yeah, that seems likely. That seems likely. You need dot star at the end of string to make it work. Ah, I see why he did it that way then. That makes sense. That makes sense. Let's see what happens if we try to build this. Zig, no such file or directory. That would do it, huh? That would do it. Okay. So let's update our shell. So if I remember correctly, we need to pull in some like bullshit to get like the latest and greatest Zig because it's not in my Nix version, but we can just say, hey, let's just get a new Nix version. Who needs it to be available to us? You know, let's just do this. Where did config come from here? Config equals config. Undefined name. Maybe it's fine. It seems like it must be fine. Undefined variable config. Maybe it's packages.config in this version of the shell. This looks promising. This looks promising. We'll give him a sec to think. It's a hard life. And it looks like we're chilling. So let's try making this again. He's mad because parameter of type. Okay. It's all make. Oh no, this is something else. This is something else. This is the. This is here. He needs to say, I take a C pointer. Is probably more sane. What was I trying to do? I was trying to make. I'm so used to typing Zig build that like make is like not functional in my head. Okay, so let's see if my driver.co was compiled not just now. Right, this was 2136, 2139, so we have a fucking problem. My driver.o, also old as fuck. So this isn't working. But it's kind of weird because this ran. This ran, but it didn't output anywhere. So maybe we're using an outdated command. Zig build obj f pick o release small my driver.zig. Like, what does that make for us? It makes my driver.o and my driver.o.o. I've never. What the fuck is this? Okay. Okay. Well, we'll live. Okay. So let's try this again. My driver.o, and can we make again and see if that runs? He runs the command, but then my driver.o, no such file or directory. I'm actually quite confused. Because I feel like this is the command we ran. Right? This. Am I stupid? So this ran this. Which did make this. But it doesn't make this if we run it in the make file? Like, am I fucking high? Zig. The .o.o is because the makefile rule for star.o, no? I don't think so. Right, like if I just run zig build obj, that's making both. And they're different sizes. Right, so something weird is going on there. Zig help. Zig build obj help. Supported file types. Is there like a -o that I can pass here? -o format. I can force it to be elf. Where does it write the file? Like supported file types. Zig.o blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm confused. Compilation unit name, not a file path. Am I stupid? Remove all .o files. Yeah, I mean we can try it. I don't see why that would matter, right? He's making. Oh, he did nothing there. I'm actually quite confused. Oh, maybe here. He had a CD in here that maybe actually is necessary to some extent. Yeah, maybe we need to CD to Puwood for this to work. Maybe the output is just going to some fucking random ass spot. That seems very possible. It's also weird that like I don't know. I don't know. Let's put this into one command. Oh, that's right. In makefiles, the CD doesn't like persist. There we go. So probably we're just in some random directory. The .o is probably like local, like some sort of like file that lives adjacent to the source file, and then the .o is like the final output. So probably somewhere in my file system, there's just a my driver.o, presumably in the root here. Got it. We missed a step. But that's okay. So now we do have this thing that was generated 1 minute ago. So this is probably the right one. Maybe manually pass f emit bin equals my driver.o. Ooh, that sounds like it might work. But at this point, I've already got something that seems like it works as well. So I don't want to, what is it? Poke the dragon? Is that what it's called? When you like poke an angry thing. It's poke an angry thing. Jeez, man. Sometimes I'm like not that smart. Okay, ins mod mydriver.co. Oh fuck. Yes, man. Poke the bear. That is what I was trying to think of. Yeah. So hello from Zig. We're fucking chilling. Oh, goodbye from Zig. It feels so good, man. It's so sick. So sick. Okay, so we fucking have a Zig kernel module. Now the trick is going to be, can we do anything interesting with it? I keep punching in the time I see in my fucking progress like bar at the bottom right, hidden under my camera, not the time in the video. But let's try to figure out how to make a dev regex. So, if I understand correctly, if I look at, wait, hold on, reset. Dev. There's a bunch of shit in here, right? And my understanding is that these are called character drivers. And these are like historically, if I understand correctly, which I might not, right? Just for the record, don't take me as a source of truth. But if I understand correctly, these were like kind of like the original, the OG Linux driver interfaces. So like in order to interact with hardware from user space, you use these things. Then at some point, proc and sysfs showed up. So there's like ways, like proc is like a bunch of kernel shit, and sys is a bunch of kernel shit. And my understanding, like my gut feel on like what these things are for is like sysfs is kind of for uh kind of like parameters to kernel modules, kind of, right? Like if I go into sys block my NVMe thing, I might have something on here that's like, I don't know, like what are the events coming in this thing? I don't know. Like my just like the way I feel is that this stuff is like parameters, right? Like I can go into like power and I can set power control on my drive. And like I go in here to set stuff like sometimes my GPU, I want to kick it into high power mode, and that's like a sysfs thing. There's like proc. I don't really have like a good feeling on what proc is. Proc kind of feels like more debuggy information, kind of more like just like info that you might want on stuff, but not necessarily like ways to interact with it, or maybe like more debuggy ephemeral things. I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of how I feel. I don't know if I have like a good definition of what goes in proc and sys. And then dev is like typically for stuff that's like block devices show up in here a lot, like things where you have like lots of data transfer, like things where you might want to like cat a block device to get the data, cat dev random to get random characters, like video, interaction. I don't know, like stuff, and so I'm kind of thinking dev regex, car dev. And so I found this page and I'm like, how the fuck do you make a car dev? How the fuck do you make one? And they kind of go over it. You have like this like FOPS thing, somewhere you like register a character dev. Right. So the path I took to get here was I like just looked for like dev devices in here, and I found that there was like in the kernel, I found dev GPIO chip. And then I grepped the source code and found that in GPIO lib, they go into these functions and they have this like cdev device add. And then I started Googling cdev device add. And then I got to this page. So looks like somewhere they must tell us. So, yeah, so here you register a character dev region. So this is kind of funny that like, I think that each one of these car devs has like a specific number associated with it, and you can't like collide numbers, which is pretty funny. So I think that if I go into here and I like ls-l dev, these things, this is like 10.234. This is like a specific thing for BTRFS. I don't even have BTRFS. Hero dev, thanks for the raid. Much appreciated. For you guys who are coming in, we are making a kernel driver to process our regexes for us because I thought it would be funny. And that's about the extent. We have just got to the point today where we have a kernel driver in Zig that just echoes some shit. And we're trying to get to the point now where we can have like a block device that we can like pipe stuff into. So the idea is that we're gonna like write content into dev regex and then read it back. And the stuff we read back should be the filtered version according to some regex rules. Yeah, so like these numbers here are like your major minor block devices, right? So HID gets like the block range of 243 onwards. And so we actually just have to like pick a number that like isn't used, which is pretty funny. And then there's this like, I think after this it's called make node, which says like, okay, so like maybe nobody like made this file for us, but it might like still be there somewhere. So if there's like a kernel driver for video, you can actually just make node like 81.2 and you'll have like video 2, and like it might not do anything sane, but like there's something there, you know? Anyways, so I think that's what this like major minor stuff is that was here. And then we create a device with cdev in it. So we say, hey, this, let's see, where does like cdev come from? My device data has a cdev. We initialize that cdev with our function pointers to do this stuff, okay? And then we add an instance of this device with this major minor number, I guess. That sounds right to me. So let's see if we can like get that thing to like exist somewhere. And hopefully if we implement one of these functions, we should be able to like see something happen. Hand wavy. So let's just kind of see if we can get that to work. So what happens here is we need Linux FS and Linux cdev. So I wonder if we can just do like a C import like this. I don't really know. But let's try it. C include like this. And cdev.h, I guess. I know that C import is going to disappear at some point, but not today. So we have time. What's it mad about? Oh, this is am I fucking const C is equal to this. There we go. cdev.h file not found. That makes sense because we have to set the include directory. So, oopsies. How do we get like the kernel directory, like the root kernel directory here? Let's see. Kernel module makefile cater. So here I don't know if like cater is guaranteed to be set. Can we like echo cater? Does this like exist? No. No. It does not. How do we like make root like make get kernel dir? I don't know, man. Because puada is not it. Is there a way to get like kernel config from currently? It's not what I want. Makefile kernel root. Linux kernel root. Like, am I stupid? I guess this guy's example. I mean, he just has I minimal include, but how does minimal include pass that stuff on? Oh, he doesn't include from the rest of the zip. Fuck. Can I like make list variables? Ask AI, maybe, yeah, that actually doesn't sound crazy. In a kernel Linux kernel module makefile, can I get the kernel root through some environment variable? Kernel dir. What do you think the chances are that he's just like a fucking lying piece of shit? My guess is high. Fucking piece of shit. Then he's just like, just fucking set it by hand. Oh, fuck this guy, man. Can I, when I call make-c, can I discover the where -c was? I hate everything. I hate everything. It's fucking annoying. Fucking annoying. Okay, whatever. For now, we just cheat. Linux, and then he's like include. Because I don't want to deal with this right now. Don't want to deal with it right now. Okay. Okay. Now, can we try to use any of this stuff that we included? So let's look at like Linux fs.h. Of course, my language server isn't going to know. So let's go to Linux include Linux fs.h or fs.h. Can we just like try to use anything from here? Can we just like print out may exec or something? Let's think. Const value is an i32 or a c int. We have to be careful with like how we pass things into variadic functions like this. But I think we do like fc may exec, I think was the thing we saw, and then let's just put in that value here and just see what happens. C import failed. libc headers are not available. Compilation does not link against libc. It's not supposed to. It's not supposed to, which means that probably Usually there's like C flags that get passed along here, probably. We can maybe look at like there's gonna be somewhere in these make files, there's gonna be like -I here, user include, Linux include, right? Like it's gonna be in here. Use Linux include when you reference the include directory. Oh, okay, so opt tree and source tree sound a lot like what I want, actually. Kind of funnily enough. So we could try using... Where does like Linux include get kind of propagated? Kbuild, C flags, kbuild, Rust flags. Yeah, let's just try Linux include. Let's try Linux include. And just see what happens. Let's just see what happens then. So here we just want like Linux include like this. And do I do like this? Echo Linux include? Or is it like raw? Oh, fuck. My driver. RM my... Oh. I'm in the wrong directory? That would do it. That would do it. Okay, so that is Linux include. Unrecognized parameter include. Fuck my life. That's fucking annoying. Fucking annoying. So I wonder if we can get away with like building a C file. Ugh. Fuck. 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 What if we just do this? Or, sorry, everything up until the kind of like injected includes. Surely this just won't work. But we can dream. We can dream that this will do what we need it to do. Also, these are all relative to the wrong directory. Which fucking sucks. Which fucking sucks. I hate build stuff. I was hoping this would be easier. So let's try the f omit bin trick that we were talking about before. And this can be like, what's the way to get like the output? I can't remember. Make file, output file, rule. It's like $sign something. Dun, 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 dun. Give me, oh my god. Make file, special variables, out file. Like, just fucking tell me what it is, man. I can't remember. It's been so long. Yeah, it's this one. Or maybe it's this one. He has -O with the @sign, so that makes me think that it's that. Okay, so C import failed. That makes sense. Can we just kind of go back to where it might have worked a little bit? Can we just not do this? You know, just kind of bye-bye. Okay, print K undefined. That's new, I feel like. Probably because f emit bin doesn't do what I need it to do. Because we probably want like emit object, not emit binary. F emit H, emit LVM, emit ASM. This does seem like the right thing. What's different now? How come it knew before, but not now? What's the difference? Right, like if I do this. Right? Oh, he's broken again. What happened? What changed? This was fine before. Am I fucking stupid? What did I change? I must have changed something. CD. Oh, it was fluid. I feel nuts. I feel a little nuts. I don't understand what changed. Because this definitely worked at some point. Change the C import, but like it shouldn't matter because it shouldn't be getting compiled. And what it's complaining about is that the print K is undefined. I should have git stuffed so that we could like compare. Okay, let's just kind of get rid of everything, I guess. And then run make. Print K undefined. Did we, is it because do we like accidentally disable print K in here? No. I'm a little confused. I'm not gonna lie. I don't understand how this worked at some point and does not work anymore. It's possible that like we were kind of leveraging some leftover files in here that we didn't realize. Right? If we do my driver back zig here and we go back to mydriver.c and we make up by one, and then we kind of go back and we like back.c and go back to mydriver.zig, and then what do? We like deleted this. Like it's possible that that kind of had some sort of like interesting kind of combined behavior because it did build this time, right? And if we go back here now and we look, we are expecting to see, you know, goodbye from Zig, and when we unload the driver, I wonder if we are still going to see that. So we need to make our init ramfs like this, and then we go to qemu, and we run it, and we expect when we run my driver code, nothing happens, and then we rmod my driver, and we say goodbye from Zig. So there's definitely something kind of fucky wucky going on where there might be some state left over in like here, or like in here, or in here. Like I don't know. You know? So can we just kind of like delete everything again? All of these generated files. And make. Oh, now it's working again. So I have no fucking idea. I have absolutely no idea. But let's work our way back, I guess. So now he's met the C import again. And we wanted to add all those -i's, wherever the fuck they were. Oh no, we wanted to change to using femit bin. Right, this is where we were. And let's go back to, oh my god, my nvim my driver zig. Let's go back to comment this out. Comment this out. And let's see if we get our little .o now. It looks like we did get this built just now. So it looks like with that f emit bin thing is helping, which means we go back to makefile and we can get rid of this cd powid. And this should still work, except we don't have, we need to force the rule to rerun. So we need to touch my driver zig and make -c. I think that make is just built off m time. So I think if we do this, it kind of like forces a rebuild, which it does, which is chillin'. And we do see that this was built now again. I don't remember if the last one was also built at 2204, so let's do an RM of this just to be super duper safe to make sure that we're not drawing any incorrect conclusions. Yeah, okay. So that's chilling now. So that means this include thing now should be okay, because now these like relative paths should be going to the right spots. And let's just kind of throw them at this and see what happens. Oops. Wait, I copy pasted too much. It's kind of like this is what I want. There we go. I think we're chilling maybe. Let's make. Okay. And let's try now going back to printing some stuff from the includes. Okay, so we got somewhere, except it looks like this is fucked. It looks like it's fucked. Right, so we need to include kconfig. Probably, right? So that's probably what those like include arguments were. God, this is annoying. Linux include. Echo this. So can we just kind of get away with manually including kconfig.h first? It's possible. It's possible. We definitely got farther. We are also missing likely and unlikely. It's also, I think that we kind of missed some of these things. So can we just kind of get all of it? Like, so we need compiler version. I wonder if this is everything. Like, let's. Hello. Here we go. So we have Arch generated UAPI. Generated UAPI, include UAPI, and then we're just missing compiler version. But other than that, it seems okay. So can we just include compiler version as well? I don't know why. It must not be like resolving everything correctly. I already forgot what it was. Was it compiler? Compiler version. Damn. Damn. So, unknown type name. Playing might not be able to parse all this GCC specific stuff. It seems very possible. Very possible. In which case, we might have to get a little tricky. It's possible. Damn, I was hoping that we could just fucking run it in Zig. But we might have to kind of do the driver stitching in C and then just do like Zig, like core app stuff in Zig. That might be easier. You're saying manually define externs, but I'm worried about like struct layout and stuff. Like I'm just kind of worried about like things getting out of sync. You know? So we might have to, it might make sense to do glue code in C, like kernel bindings, generate a .o from the make file, from the .c file, and then call into Zig stuff if we want it. I think that's probably, we're gonna have to, I think making that compromise is just gonna make sense. It's gonna be too hard otherwise. So I think we're gonna bring back my driver.c, and we'll call this like driver.impl.zig or something. Okay, my driver.c, and then we'll have like a, okay, let's get in it here because this is gonna be a disaster. And let's say we have like driver impl.h. Okay. Actually, we don't even need this. We'll just hard code it directly in the C version. Okay, so let's just say, I'm thinking. We'll call this like driver print. We can still maybe print K from here. That's fine. If it works, it works. Here we'll call this driver init module like this. And hello from Zig like this. And then in my driver.c, we will just look for this. Unfortunately, you know, we could dream about a better, simpler life, but we cannot. What was the other function? Cleanup module. And here we'll just say my driver init module. And I think my driver init module return an int. And we'll say my driver cleanup module. Sad life. But it's okay. Okay, make file. We go back here and we say this requires my driver.o and my driver, what was it? Driver impl? What is happening here? My whole fucking everything is broken. Driver impl.o. Alright. And let's just kind of see what happens. I guess we will touch the C thing now. Like this. Why Linux modules require a license? Is it really required, not just convention? It's required because if you have a non-GPL licensed kernel module, then they lock out a bunch of GPL licensed kernel functions so that you can't use them. I guess this was void. So this is void here. And then this is return 0. Kind of like this. Okay, so my driver init module, my driver cleanup module are undefined and no module license. So am I fucking stupid? My driver.c, driver impl. Okay. What am I missing? We don't need all of these includes on here anymore. We do still want this fmit bid thing. I think it might be that we need that obj.y here. Right, this might be kind of necessary. Mod post my driver init module undefined. It is just not building driver impl if I do that. So let's try this again. This comes back up here. here we have a driver impl.o. I just don't understand why. Oh, we need to export it. We need to export it. Of course. Of course. I forgot. Oh, we did. Then I'm confused. My driver init module. Did we name this wrong in my driver? No. No. All right, we're missing something important. We're missing something important here. Oh, so yeah, he seems to think that this is like another module, right? There's something fucked here. So I'm back to thinking that like that original makefile we looked at, like the sample makefile in documentation, it was like documentation module RST, I think. We copied this shared makefile thing, and he said this. Ah, it wasn't obj-m, it was the name-y. That's what we missed. That's what we missed. So it's my driver dash y is equal to these extra files that it needs. Missing module license in my driver. Okay, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Because he's not complaining about the missing functions anymore, just the missing license. But we have it right here, so I don't understand. Oh, data relocation. Warning object tool, data relocation to end BR. So he's bitching about this too. Missing modules. Can we like just fucking... I don't believe that it's not there. I more believe that there's something wrong with this. Nope, he's still equally angry. Am I fucking stupid? Let's go back here and go just straight back to print K. Or like just fucking do nothing. Let's just do fucking nothing. And then go into makefile, like fuck this shit. Like just simplest case. Okay, that works. That works. And then as soon as we add in my driver or driver impl, we're back to getting angry for some reason. And he doesn't like this for some reason. Data relocation. If you need it, here is another Zig module template on Zig's issue tracker. It's possible, yeah, it's possible that we need a little bit more help. It's also possible like d-release equals true was relevant here in some way. Let's reference other people's things. So this guy did... Oh, this is old. This is old as shit. Old as shit. You're saying in the Zig issue tracker, somebody has tried to make a kernel module? Kernel module. Linux kernel. You forgot to send the link? Okay, here. My module, he adds all these includers, sure, but like... does he do anything crazy here? He says the build mode, disable gen 8, sure. Does he set like any ABI as new? OS tag freestanding. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, and he's just fucking like hard coding the stuff. Ugh. I want to get the C glue version working. I just feel like that's gonna be like the lowest friction. I just have to understand what's going on here. Can we do like make with v equals 1, verbose equals 1? Probably one of these must be what I want. Okay. No printer. I feel like it's related to this like relocation issue. Right? Something about this feels wrong. It'd be interesting to see if we can debug that at all. So let's just kind of get all this shit out of here again and make. And let's see what's going on here. So he's calling obj tool with all of this stuff. Do I need fpic? I must, like, it feels like I must. Data relocation to NVR. Can we just like look up what this fucking means? This looks relevant, but he doesn't get an answer. Does not get an answer. Print address, blah, blah, blah. NVR warning is reported for data section. Optional just prints the text address of the relocation arch twice without giving any clues. Instead, print the address of the data reference, blah, blah, blah. So he's saying, like, before, it looked like this, and then after, it looks like this. Which, are we getting the after version? We are getting EH frame data relocation to NVR. Fuck off. Okay. So I assume that it's the strings. I assume that if I comment this out, then this works okay. No? Oh, maybe we have to. No, we did edit it. Oh, the obj errors are gone? But the module license one stayed? Is it possible that the module license has to propagate into every single file? That's like a possibility. That's definitely possible. Every single file needs a module license. Is possible. Let's try that. Let's try that. Womp 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 womp. All right, let's just copy this again. Yeah, okay. Okay. So now he's still getting those like relocation issues. Which is interesting, but I wonder if that's like avoidable. We will see. We will see. I guess I saw in that like that other example. I saw in this example they called from C to Zig, and did they do anything special here? They just did export function, okay. And here they just called, hello, that's fine. Did he do anything special in terms of like trying to relocate? No, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. All right, let's just see what happens if we try to run it. I guess we'll go back to trying to use the print K, and we'll just see how fucking broken this is. Right? So this was built at 2223, which is right now. Okay, we put this in RMFS, we RM this, we go like this, we file print 0 right here. We make our init.rmfs, and then we run it in qemu. And can we okay, so that's not good. We see nothing happen. Nothing happens. Not good at all. Not good at all. Well, we aren't calling anything, so that would probably not help. All right, so, we can, calm down. Calm down. Can we do like a build sh, and it's make dash c dot slash Linux m equals pwd, and then push d. We want to go up to. We want to like go to the init ramfs, and we want to cp the driver into here, and then we want to run our like find dot thing. Fuck. Build. Find. Oh god. Find this, and then we want to pop D and then push D into kernel. Push D into kernel. And then run qemu. Qemu. All right. Fuck. This one. Okay. And then we need user bin and bash. Okay, ins mod my driver. Rmod my driver. Nothing happened. I wonder why. Build. Go into /initramfs. This was built at 2225, which is right. Right, this is 2223. Oh, he copied, sure, so it's like newer. And then this is from 2225 as well, so we're chilling there. Can we do something like in here? Can we like print k hello from C just to kind of kick it off? It feels like it's not making anything. Am I fucking crazy? Am I fucking crazy? Like, there we go. There, now it feels like it did something. Ins mod my driver. Yeah, just nothing's happening. I don't understand. Am I doing something stupid in build? Copy driver mydriver.co to my initramfs. We generate the thing. Oh, yeah, I'm missing something. Missing something indeed. I would like to maybe try not including driver impl again. Let's just go back to like the full C version. All right, we'll go back here. Make implicit function in mydriver.c. That's fair. That is fair. It is fair. Ins mod my driver. Okay, so that is working. He's saying hello from C for sure. Which makes it seem like everything's working. I'm gonna change this build script to not run the build and just do like initramfs building and stuff. And okay. So we need to go back to obj my driver is equal to driver impl.o, driver impl.o. This is surely just like corrupting stuff, right? It must be like that obj that uh relocation error has to be related. Like it just has to be. So right, like we go back to this version. Maybe we don't do it in init module, or we'll say, yeah, we'll do both. Fuck it. Right, so we get, oh, this errored this time. Undefined. Obj, oh, this is supposed to be my driver dash y, that's why, like this. So hard to remember everything. So hard to remember everything. It's so weird that it doesn't like complain about anything and it just like fucking blows the fuck up. It's very strange. Okay. Okay. So it's just that like something about this doesn't work good. I wonder if we turn off fpic here, what happens? Like surely there's a reason that they did that, but we're kind of grasping at straws here. You know? Yeah, I mean that doesn't seem any better. Does not seem any better. So data relocation. I wonder if this like isn't doing what I want. Like I wonder if going back to the no emit bin version changes things. I don't see why it would, but it's possible. Fuck off. Release. My bad. My bad. Cannot find driver impl. That's weird. Why not? Wasn't this how it worked before? Oh, it was, did we, no, CD? Oh, it was PUID. It was PUID, not source, that's why. This, no, we're back to the same problem with the relocation errors. Another example, I'm not sure if this has been posted yet. I have looked at this. It does seem like, it just feels like we're missing some like build option on like this. Unfortunately, like I think that these commands are different now. Maybe they're not. It's possible, maybe they're not. Library? Oh. Oh, link against library. So he's linking against libc, which we don't want. What about like release? No. Yeah, so this has changed since this was made. This feels like we're close. Yeah, it's just like this relocation problem, which I just don't understand. I just wish I did. Can we like verb like rm driver impl v equals 1 verbose equals 1? Let's try this again and just try to understand exactly what's happening. So this is happening here. Fuck. Is my fucking like my fucking window broken? So there we go. Okay, LD. And it's in the obj tool, probably. I guess we just run each of these individually and see which one it is. Okay. Fine. Fine. We'll run it from the right directory. So this is what he's mad at, is this obj tool thing. Module this. This is an elf. That makes sense. I would like to see, like, someone in the world must have hit this, right? Like, someone must have. It happens on a regular untouched build. Nothing to be concerned about. What if it's nothing to be concerned about? Like, why the fuck is my, like the kernel module is loading, but it completely, like, it doesn't print anymore. Is it possible that, like, here I'm forgetting to put in this, like, warn thing? And that's fucking us? I don't see why it would, unless somehow, like, our print K in the driver is doing something, like, fucking with it in some way. Like, what if I go into my driver.zig and I don't try to print K? Right? Let's just, like, try to reduce as much as we can. Literally do nothing. Literally do nothing. Surely, if it's broken, it's broken. So insmod my driver. Yeah, like there's dmessage. Yeah, it's just not happening. It's just not happening. I'm so confused. Oh my god, my fucking terminal's always broken. Fuck. Yeah, it's very strange. It'd be like, what else is like getting generated here? We have like mod.c. What is like frame? What is that? Including backtrace. I wonder if we can disable. Could be something to do with like the error handling stuff in Zig when it does like an error trace. It'd be interesting to see if we can like disable that in some way. Like, is there like an F flag for that? Enable C++ exception handling? No. Like, there might be like just some features that we have to disable. F no compiler runtime, for example. Backtrace, like. I guess we just have to try stuff. Right? We just have to try stuff. No compiler RT, right? Let's just start doing stuff and see what happens. I think that didn't build anything, which is annoying. I don't really know why. Okay, there we go. frame. So like zig frame. Like, what does this do? Dwarf. Can we like have like no debug info? Can we like strip it before we link it? I guess like strip debug. If we strip debug of this, what do we see? And then we run that like that obj tool thing again. Oops, wrong thing. Obj tool. Yeah, still not good. How puzzling, how puzzling. With frame pointer omitted? Wait, okay. That's a clue. Emit frame pointer. Maybe that's not a valid command. Frame. F omit frame pointer. Sorry. No, wait, is that not what I wrote? Frame pointer. Oh, it's F omit frame pointer. That's I said emit, not omit. The opposite. The opposite. Like this. All right, let's try that. Okay, we decide blah blah blah. So this guy. No panic stack traces with frame pointer emitted. If we decide to go with the EH frame section, I'm happy to tackle this implementation myself. I don't know. If we build emit frame pointer, this will no longer work as expected, blah, blah, blah. It also seems like this stuff shouldn't get compiled if we're not using it. All right. I think I have to do some extra Googling. I think that I have hit a wall here, and unfortunately, however disappointing, it probably makes sense for me to just do off-screen looking at this, because I'm obviously just fucking lost, and I need to do some reading. So apologies for the disappointing ending here. We did get a kernel module in Zig working at some point. We got our kernel debugging environment set up and stuff. But we are struggling to do anything of interest in the Zig kernel module, which is a little disappointing. And it's just because I don't understand what the fuck is going on well enough yet. So I'll do some reading. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll see how far we get. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So apologies, guys, but thanks for watching. I think we had some fun anyways. We've definitely had some good progress. So if you like what you saw, we stream most days at around 12:30 Pacific time to around 4 o'clock Pacific time. 12:30 to 2, we do this like kind of like happy hour thing where we're kind of working like not on like new features and new stuff, but kind of like cleaning up old stuff. This is if you're watching on YouTube, you were seeing the 2 to 4 section. So if you want to see the other stuff, swing by on Twitch, or you can check out the archives on Patreon. If you're watching on Twitch, there's a YouTube link in the Twitch description where you can check out projects that we've been working on. We've been kind of working on this like map thing globally, or like long term, but there's other stuff in here if you want to check it out. There's like operating systems and like zlib and QR code decoder and stuff. We'll probably be back on this tomorrow. On this like kernel driver stuff, but we'll see what I understand from off-stream reading. Like, subscribe, Twitch Prime, you guys know the deal. I will see YouTube another time, and Twitch, let's find someone to raid.